Welcome back, cool friends. Today I was going to talk about the various Gothic stereotypes that people assume, assumptions about those of us in the Goth persuasion, like myself and my wife Anna.
I assume you want me to come say hi?
Yes.
Hi.
We brought ourselves out in the sun today. I know we're not supposed to do that, but we do once in a while. And one of the other Goth assumptions is that we hang out in graveyards, just like we are today. I mean,
some assumptions are true.
yeah. And the assumption that Goths, specifically male Goths, are weaklings or scrawny little waifs. That's the word they usually use, waif. I am a waif. I admit it, I always have been. I didn't know what it meant until I became a Goth. So 20 years after I was born, I do have similar problems with my muscles. Like my neck likes to tip over because the weight of my fantastic brain is too much for my neck muscles to hold up.
That is not what his doctors say.
That Goths are depressed all the time. Sad. That one, it depends on the case-by-case basis. I've known plenty of Goths who have waves of depression, including myself, that come and go with different reasons and different triggers that cause it. But for the most part, I'm a happy Goth. That's one of the types of Goths. There are many types. There's the vampire obsessed type, where they wear vampire teeth when they go out, just trying to scare people. And there's the it's all about the music type, which that goes between each of the other types, back and forth. It is about the music, but not only about the music. At least for me, when I became a Goth in 1992 or 93, I didn't know about any of this stuff. I had a very good Goth elder who taught me about a lot of it, and she told me that there were these types like this happy Goths and depressed vampire Goths, that kind of thing. They did go into the different clubs where the different kinds of Goths hang out, because Chicago was awesome in the 90s for the Gothic subculture. It had a club for every type, and then there was a different scene for every type. Scenes with many different individuals. The more happy Goths would hang out at Club 950 in Chicago. It was more of a punk / new wave bar, but the guy who DJ'd had a good collection of Goth music that was from the actual time they were made. Like he had them in his collection already. That was one of the bars that I hung out at on Thursdays. And the depressed Goths would go to many different bars, trying to find that one person or scene that could lift them out of despair. They hung out at Neo on Thursday nights, or at the Dome Room on Saturdays. For a while there was a Goth night at a Smart Bar at the Metro Theater that was the original Goth Night that moved around a bit here and there. So most of the waves of depression that I dealt with had to do with dating, not with goth. Not from reading side stories or anything like that. There were some women that just pulled my heart out, not intentionally. Then there are some that intentionally stabbed me in the chest with the depression knife. And that's one of the weird things about my time in the goth subculture in Chicago. Were some of the happiest times of my adult life, not counting my time married to my awesome goth girl wife, Anna.
Thank you, dear.
She has been making sure that in my new paralyzed state, I'm able to go out and meet people and friends and do things that interest me rather than staying in. I don't like being shut in. I like going out and meeting people and doing things. It's very anti-goth stereotype. So when I first started going out to the goth clubs with my friend Karen, just when I first walked into a nightclub on a goth night where they're playing gloomy music, it looked so awesome. It made me so happy to be there. And eventually, when I realized that I could dance, it made me very happy to dance. I never danced when I was young, not even at school dances. I don't look it, but I am actually a very graceful dancer. At least I used to be. Now I can't even stand for an extended period of time unless I'm holding on to my wife. When we do go to clubs or wherever where there's a dancing crowd, and we feel like we want to dance to a slow song, we can do it. I just have to stand up and have my wife hold me by the arms, and then I can stand there for a while. I just can't be stable. I can't do any graceful leg movements. Most of the time, my left leg won't even do anything, won't move. If I really try, I can lift it, and that's about it.
Lift it more now that I'm aiming at it.
So we wanted to find an appropriate place to film this video. And today is Memorial Day and World Dracula Day.
I just want to show off. First time wearing my Dracula dress I bought 8 months ago. Saving it for today.
So because of Memorial Day, we figured there would be other people in the cemetery. This is Lindenwood Cemetery, which is a fancy one compared to the others. We have held picnics here, and they seemed okay with it. No, we didn't get specific permission to do that, but when we talked to them, they're like, yeah, people go out and have picnics all the time, but not as much as the kind of picnics we used to hold in Worcester Cemetery in Cincinnati.
Spring Grove
Cemetery, which has a much more park-like atmosphere and a lot more people go to for picnics.
And if you're wondering, yes, once we're done recording this video, we're having a picnic.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
So the cucumber we store-bought. Our cucumber plant is still a baby because it's only May. But the dill is from my garden. And later in the summer we'll get to eat cucumber sandwiches featuring cucumber from our garden. List of goth stereotypes. Okay, so here are myths and stories, goth stereotypes.
Here's a summary from Goth Types Wiki, Goth Types Wiki. Fandom. Myths and stories. Goth stereotypes. But goths are Satanists.
We're not
Are you doing
Satanists.
drugs? Are
We're
you
not on
depressed / suicidal?
Talked about
So,
that.
do you cut yourself? You're too happy to be goth,
We talked
but
about
you're
that
so
too.
nice, and more.
The other two are, but you wear other colors besides black. And are you in a cult?
At one time I was, not now though. I was a pagan.
It's not the same as a cult.
It was kind of a cult. Anyway, I was kind of leading that cult for a while in Chicago.
I guess it depends how you define cult, but the way you described it didn't sound that culty to me.
Anyways, Goths only wear black. That one I can't confirm. We wear black most of the time like we are today.
But even in black, we both have colors on our shirts.
This is my dressed down look. Because my favorite coat no longer fits me. I used to have a replica of a 16th century Catholic priest coat. And I wore that through all of my time in the 90s subculture.
It's also too hot for it.
Yeah, it is. This is a windbreaker jacket. It's nice and comfortable on such a nice May Day like this.
Yeah, that priest coat is wool. It's not for this weather. But that is black, so that doesn't help you with the stereotype. Talk about things you have that aren't black.
Well, I also like to wear deep reds, maroon, and purple. Usually not bright versions of those colors, but I wouldn't put it off. I might do it one day. I actually might dye my mohawk a super bright purple. That would be awesome. It used to be dyed black, but I've grown it out so far.
Okay, you ready for some more of these? I clicked on blank to see more. You don't listen to metal, etc.
I do. Metallica is awesome. There's actually quite a few Metallica retreads in the industrial music genre. That's another one is that there's the industrial goth, which prefers to listen to industrial music, which is more of a clanky sound than the gothic wavy sound. I guess that's the best way I could describe it.
But yesterday, when you were on the deck listening to music, you chose metal.
Yeah, I did.
So I guess we need to, what's the word? Tell them that stereotype is wrong.
Yeah, we definitely listen to metal. Some of us only listen to metal. I've known several goths who came to the goth through a metal associated. Ozzy Osbourne is beloved amongst most goths. That might be why people think it's a cult. Because people think Ozzy is a cult.
Mm-hmm.
He isn't. He's a really dark guy, but he's not a cult.
Okay, and then the next one is, do you practice magic?
Okay. I used to be a witch. I kind of am now, but not really. And I never believed that what I did was magic. I don't believe in magic. I believe in casting spells to improve your own life. I talk about gods and goddesses a lot, but now I'm more of a
Pastafarian.
Pastafarian, yes. I'm more of a Pastafarian now, which is kind of a joke religion. Tattoos and piercings. Goths are covered with tattoos and piercings. I can't confirm that goths do enjoy having tattoos and piercings. I used to have multiple piercings, but I am kind of covered in tattoos. And I did at one time have nipple piercings. My body eventually pushed those out. they were starting to hurt so much, I had to band-aid them down because they would ruffle against the inside of my shirt and feel like someone was yanking me up by my nipples. Not comfortable.
By the way, I have 0 tattoos, 0 piercings, and I hate needles, so it may stay that way for quite a while. Alright, last one you've already covered. Do you think you're a vampire? You already talked about that one.
I don't think I'm a vampire, but I have met goths that did think they were vampires. So, kind of confirmed is the best I can say. There was one guy at Neo that definitely had the vampire look, but he thought he was a vampire, even though he still lived in his mom's basement in the suburbs. Goodbye, Google friends.